Alright. Now, where did I leave off at? Okay, we were talking about equality, and we were talking about, so a lion, okay, is not going to look at a cheetah, and he's not going to say, hey, Mr. Cheetah, how come you can run faster than me? I mean, I just don't think that's fair. I mean, you can run about 60 miles an hour, and I can basically do a snail's pace of maybe 30 at tops. And so, I mean, that's just not fair. If I try a little harder, I bet I'll be as good as you. You know, that's not going to happen. Because number one, and I'm going to say, nature itself is not equal. Now, we know in the, the Declaration of Independence, the 13 states had signed, it basically says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What you have to, when you use that, you have to look at that and say, okay, we're dealing with a very Christian nation, with this concept. At that time, it was. And they believed in the Bible. Okay, these white men that signed that Declaration of Independence were very religious people. And you can look in Acts. They probably went with Acts 10:34 when it says, Peter opened his mouth and said, "Of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons." That's probably pretty true, because I don't think God really looks at people and says, you know what, this one's better than that one, or I think they're pretty much all going to be in the same lot with God. So, but what I'm trying to get at is this. We do know that a 6-foot tall man has an advantage over someone that might be, let's say, 5'5", when it comes to, playing basketball, for instance. It's a great way to look at it. Or we do know that nature's not equal. It's not. Some men are stronger than other men. Some men possess more patience than other men. Some men are more easily angered than other men. And men and women, well, that's a whole other story, because it's very true that all men are stronger than women. Now, you might find the exception to the rule. And the exception to the rule goes as follows. I can find a really strong woman, and I can find a really weak man, and I can say that some women are stronger than men. But this is not the general rule, this is the exception to the rule. Just because you can find a rare circumstance where you have a woman that's stronger than a man, and you have a man that's very weak, does not necessarily defeat the point that the majority of men, based on testosterone and muscular definition and things, just the bodies in general, men are different than women. So that's just common sense. Now, when you look at races and you see that some people are black and some people are white and some people are, Chinese, they look different. Okay? Well, it stands to reason that there might be some mental differences, just like there are in the rest of the animal kingdom. A golden retriever has better patience and temperament. A little child can come up and slap the living crap out of that dog, and it will never bite you, because it possesses a different temperament. Now, if you try that with a Rottweiler, that's probably going to have to be a dead kid, okay? Because a Rottweiler does not possess the same temperament as a golden retriever, even though they're both dogs. I mean, you following me so far on this? Okay, so there's no such thing as equality. That's number one. That is just common sense. So you have to keep that in mind when we're considering this. Why is it so important that we promote this idea that if you just try hard enough, if you just do your best, you can be as good as another person. You can do anything anyone else can do if you just try good enough. In principle, that sounds really nice. We all want to believe in fairy tales, but the reality is that some people are gifted with superiorities in different areas. Asian people are very good at very intricate, small things. You can look at any of their animation and see that. I love the movie Akira. I think that was an excellent Japan animation. I mean, it almost looks like CGI. It's so good. African Americans, in my opinion, have a very good ability to entertain people, and obviously they can play sports very well. So these people have different areas where they're actually good at things, okay? Yes, you can find a lot of white people that can entertain, and you can find a lot of white people like Walt Disney that can draw, but I'm just simply pointing out that each people's are gifted with certain talents, okay, and they are not equal at all, okay, not at all. The media is generating this concept that we're all equal, okay? The media is promoting this concept that somehow, George Zimmerman is white, and therefore we need to attack whites and hurt whites. George Zimmerman is Hispanic, okay? He's Hispanic. He's not white. This is a going out on a limb attempt to generate more hell and animosity and racism, which we claim we're trying to fight, directed at white people who did nothing wrong at all. Now listen, black people, historically, we can see from the incidents in Hurricane Katrina, also the LA riots, and a number of other flash mob incidents I can even just rattle off at the top of my head, have shown that they have the propensity to be violent and rampage and loot and go crazy just when given the right stimulation. The media is guilty of what happened with Rodney King and the LA riots. Completely. They're completely guilty of that. Any innocent victim that was hurt in that situation that did not beat Rodney King, that was beaten up or hurt, Reginald Denny, that was beaten up pretty badly and hit in the head with the bricks and bottles and all that. Listen, that is what you call the result of a media going wild and putting a trip on the American public. Okay? Now what I'm trying to say is this. If you're white and somebody says you did something wrong, you might want to say, hey, I never owned any slaves. I never killed any Indians. I never took anybody's land. And you, living today, were never a slave. You did not have your land taken away. And the last time I checked, we're supposed to be promoting equality and all these other silly little ideas that they keep saying. So if that's what they're going to say, then we might as well just go ahead and go with that and say, hey, what about me? What about me here? Don't I deserve this stuff? Aren't we all equal? Well, apparently we're not, because it's pick on white people all the time when they didn't even do nothing wrong. Tell them, listen to me for a moment. Don't give me your shit, okay? I'm not in the mood for it. You blind, stupid, hypocritical, racist, anti-white. That's what you say, okay? And that's what I do. I'll go to my grave fighting that. And if there is a God in heaven, I know that there is, he's going to judge these people, okay? That's if society doesn't get to them first. Well, you seen what happened in Katrina. It took the military, or the FEMA and all them, weeks to get in there. It's going to be the same thing if riots break out. You're not going to see all the violence. You're not going to see anything. They might even show you a bunch of black victims. Okay, at the rate they're going, that's pretty much what they would do, wouldn't it be? Okay? So let's think about this clearly. Defend yourself. Fuck everyone that is lying. Stand up for yourself. Okay? Now, I'm sorry that I voiced my opinion in such a very raw and unadulterated way, but sometimes you've got to stand up. And I'm afraid that some of this bullshit that I see going on here lately is one of those times. Have a nice day. I'll talk to you again.